And in a newer book called On Nuclear Terrorism by Michael Levy, who writes, "The watchdogs of cooperative material and weapons security never dismissed the possibility of nuclear material finding their way to the hands of organized terrorism or irresponsible states. However, efforts of monitoring nuclear material is not new. It goes back to the early 1950s when super powerful nuclear explosions were being conducted by the United States and the former Soviet Union. Scholars generally told that transporting a gun-type weapon based on weapons-grade uranium to a target within a major Western state would present little challenge to a terrorist group. Levy also writes, if a terrorist group acquired uranium or plutonium oxide powder, it could use the powder directly in a nuclear weapon, convert it to metal, or in the case of plutonium oxide, it could build a radiological weapon. A very sophisticated terrorist group might go with the former, since it is easier to produce high-yield weapon by converting uranium oxide to metal than plutonium. Experts in the field believe that plutonium or uranium contained in reactor fuel poses additional problems to the terrorist group, since it has to be extracted before it can be used in a weapon. Plutonium is found either in fuel that has been irradiated in a reactor, where plutonium has built up over time, or in MOX fuel, where plutonium is incorporated in the design of the fuel. Interesting, isn't it? Scary stuff, isn't it? Also, Tom Burgart in his article writes that the US media reprising their role during the run-up to the 2003 invasion and occupation of Iraq are chock-a-block with scary stories that Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps is preparing to carry out terrorist attacks in Europe and in the United States. Indeed, the Shiite regime may have given new freedom to Sunni Salafist extremists, including members of the Management Council of the Arab-Afghan Database of Disposable Western Intelligence Assets, also known as Al-Qaeda, detained in Iran, and may have provided some material aid to the terrorist group. An account published by the Wall Street Journal can be believed, which of course it can't. Another Islamic fundamentalism in a first world country. Sydney, Australia. Wow, shots are being fired. Holy, heavy gunfire. Wow, very similar to the terror attack in Ottawa, capital of Canada, just a few weeks ago. Look at that.
But that the RCMP have never released. But one source calling it a martyr video, as if
martyr video in Ottawa.
There's lots of debate about what has motivated him. Was he a terrorist, as the government has said?
Some French Canadian who happened to visit a mosque in Vancouver. Ooh.
On October 4th, he took a tour of Parliament. He have never released, but one
Let's
source
go
called
back to today's incident. Holy cow. Guns. So basically, this is the name of the game. Creating a worldwide fear. Another psychological prelude for the world community to relate to what will come next. Most probably a catastrophe for another capital city. Which capital city will endure that one? Is that Tehran, capital of Iran? Is this scenario going that way? It better not, gentlemen. It better not. You cannot fool all of the people all of the time, as your president once said. And let's see what kind of advertisement they are putting in front of this clip. Wow. God is with us. Exodus.